Hello everyone, and welcome to my first video of Hearthstone, a game currently in development by Blizzard. I just got into the beta today, and I've been really excited to play this game. If you follow me on Twitter, you've probably seen me talk about it quite a few times over the past month or so, and so when I saw that I had the invitation to the beta, I was like, oh, I need to jump into this and get some gameplay up. If you don't know what Hearthstone is, the closest thing I can say is Magic the Gathering, but not. But if you know what Magic the Gathering is, then you should be able to wrap your head around Hearthstone. It's a much more fast-paced Magic the Gathering, kinda. I should probably stop saying Magic the Gathering, because it doesn't share the same mana system. Well, anyway, let's just get into the game here. There are two different modes that you can play. There is Play, which basically is you constructing a deck. I'll just jump in here real quick. First you pick one of the 9 classes that are available, and I probably should run through this very quickly if you don't know what it is. So you pick a hero, and each hero has a deck or a set of cards that is his class of cards, and then there is a whole pool of cards that are considered neutral that any hero can choose from. So a priest couldn't choose a card that is rogue specific, and so on and so forth. So you choose your avatar, your hero here, and then you build a deck around that hero, and then you go challenge other players in this pre-constructed deck mode, which is just the play. The mode that I am going to be focusing on is the arena, because in the arena you get a random set of 3 heroes to choose from. You choose the hero, and then you get a random set of 3 cards, and when you choose one card from that set of 3, you get a new set of 3, and you keep doing this process, or going through this process, until you reach 30 cards, which is the deck size of Hearthstone. So we're just going to jump right in here. This is going to be my first arena. Let's get in here. So here we go. These are my 3 heroes that I can choose from, and like I said, Malfurion Stormrage has a druid deck, which is going to be totally different from, Gul'dan, who is a warlock, and Garrosh Hellscream, which is a warrior. So they all are going to play differently. They all have different hero abilities, which we'll get into when we actually get into the game. And so for my first play, I'm going to dig out my Epic Die of Randomness, and say on a 1 and a 2, it's going to be a druid, 3 or 4 warlock, 5 or 6 is going to be a warrior. And it was a 7, because this is a D8. Let me reroll. Okay, looks like it's going to be Garrosh Hellscream. So we're going to choose the warrior. Victory or death! And then off and to the right, you see the hero's ability. Now, every single hero has an ability, and they're all different depending on the hero. So this hero, the ability for the warrior, is you pay 2 mana, and you gain 2 armor. Armor is kind of like hit points at this point in the game. So your maximum hit points is 30, and if you press this skill, if you have 2 mana and pay for it, you can get 2 armor, which is technically giving you 2 extra hit points. And there are some other skills and other cards in the warrior deck that play off of how much armor you have, so just a little quick run through there.
Now,
let's choose.
Pick a card to add to your deck.
Okay. So this is the first set of cards I get to choose from, and when I pick them, they'll come up over here, and I'm at 0 of 30 cards, and it's totally random, which is why I love this mode. So the point of this is to get to 9 wins using the deck that we construct here, and if you get 3 losses before you get to 9 wins, you lose that arena match. And then to get into another arena match, you have to pay gold. I think it's 240 gold to actually get into another arena match, and I believe the way the game is set up currently is if you get at least 7 wins, you're guaranteed a reward up to the amount needed to enter another arena. If you don't have enough money and you want to play the arena, you actually have to pay real money to get some gold coins for this game, and then there you go. You can also just go and play through the pre-constructed gameplay type, and I believe you can earn gold through that as well. But I'm not interested about that, so let's see. Let's go through these cards here. I'm not going to totally explain everything about Hearthstone, because there's a lot that you can kind of just pick up by watching me play. Alright, so let's see. First set of cards here. The red border shows that this is a warrior specific. The grays are neutral specific, so any class can choose from them. And also, another thing is that when you pick a class, you're not going to see other class cards in your random sets here. It's always either going to be your class or neutral. Okay, so let's see. Twilight Drake. Battle Cry, I guess I should go over this really quickly. Battle Cry is when you play this card, this ability goes into effect automatically. That's what Battle Cry is. And so this guy also has a Battle Cry. And that is 4 mana. This creature has 4 attack damage when it swings, and it starts off with 1 hit point, but its Battle Cry is gain 1 health for each card in your hand, so that could be pumped up depending on how many cards are in your hand. Whew. Then we have an armor smith here. Whenever a friendly minion takes damage, gain 1 armor. So I would gain an armor if a friendly minion takes damage. And she is a 1/4 creature for 2. That's okay, I suppose. And then a Defender of Argus. Battle cries give adjacent minions +1/+1 and taunt. So a creature that has taunt, you can actually see it right there. Enemies must attack minions that have taunt before they can get to the minions that don't have taunt, and even before they can hit you. So if I have a taunt creature out, they'd have to kill the taunt before they can attack me. That's kind of the big thing about taunt. I think I will actually choose Defender of Argus.
Keep it up.
And what's also cool, get out of there, is that it shows you your mana curve. So you kind of see how many, forecasts you have, how many 1, 2, and 3. So you can see your mana curve, and you kind of, it's pretty important to have a good mana curve. Let's see, next to the cards, we have a Acidic Swamp Ooze that destroys an opponent's weapon. Okay, so most of the heroes, not all, but most, have access to weapons, and the weapons enables your character to attack either creatures or your opponent's hero directly. So let's say, I was attacking another warrior and he had a weapon equipped at the time. When I play this guy, it's destroyed, so that's pretty powerful. Ventrico Mercenary is a 7/6 for 5. The drawback is your minions cost 3 more. But in this game, as I said, it's very fast-paced, so the chances of your Ventrico even living past a turn for this downside to affect you is kind of slim. And even if he does live, it's still a 7/6 for 5, which is pretty strong. It's pretty strong. Then we have a Nightblade, which when she is played, her battle cry deals 3 damage to the enemy hero. Another thing I've noticed in watching gameplay of Hearthstone is that damage to the hero specifically is not that important. What's the most important is board control. So if this Nightblade had a battle cry that said deal 3 damage, and that's it, that would be pretty good, but since it's to the enemy hero only, that battle cry is kind of like, so you're getting a 4/4 for 5. So I don't know about that. But yeah, just trust me that board control is more important than dealing damage to the hero. So for these 3 cards, I think I'm actually going to choose the Acidic Swamp Ooze because it counters a lot of things. If you don't know anything about the game, just trust me when I say that this card is pretty good, and it counters a lot of good plays. So let's pick the Acidic Swamp Ooze. Okay, so here, ooh, wow, okay. So this is one of the weapons I was talking about. So for 5 mana, I can equip this weapon to my champion, my hero here, and that would give my hero 5 damage. And this is the durability of the weapon. So each time you use the weapon, the durability is taken down by 1. So this Arcanite Reaper has 2 attacks max. Now, the downside with attacking with the hero is if I, let's say, use the Arcanite Reaper here to attack this Cruel Taskmaster, I'm going to take 2 damage. Okay? So that's the downside of attacking with your hero. But it's still pretty good. Unless you have really low hit points, then it's kind of a bad idea. Out of these 2 options, this is a warrior-specific card. Battlecry is deal 1 damage to a minion and give it +2 attack. Now, you may be asking, like, why would you want to deal 1 damage to a minion? Well, in the warrior deck specifically, and also there are some neutral creatures, there is an ability called Enrage. And when the creature receives damage, if it is enraged, it usually gets like a buff. So sometimes dealing 1 damage to a minion is a good thing, and especially if you give it +2 damage. Or +2 attack. And also, if you're fighting against a minion that only has 1 damage left, an enemy minion, you can target that minion with this ability and deal 1 damage to them. So this is a pretty good card. But that being said, I think I'd rather have a weapon. Alright, so after this first video, I'm probably not going to really explain in depth as much anymore for those people who already know what Hearthstone is and know how it's played. But I figured for this first video, I should just kind of take it slow and, for the people who don't know what Hearthstone is. Okay, so our next set of choices here, we have Inner Rage, which we can deal 1 damage to a minion and give it +2 attack. So it's basically the battle cry of that Cruel Taskmaster that was here last time, but it costs 0. So that could be good if we have creatures with Enrage. Cleave, deal 2 damage to 2 random enemy minions for only 2 mana. So that's 4 damage you're dealing to 2 different minions for 2 mana. That's very powerful. And then another Acidic Swamp Ooze. As I said, board control is very powerful, and Cleave is a great early board control card. So I'm going to choose Cleave. Alright, I generally ignore 1/1 creatures because, well, they're not that good. This creature has charge, so as you can see right there with the tooltip, it can attack immediately. So I didn't go through this before, but when you summon a creature, unless it has charge, it cannot attack the turn it is brought out. So that's why you would want a charge creature. If you need 1 extra damage to another creature or something, you can pull this guy out and charge him, and it's damage that your opponent doesn't account for when he's playing his turn, because you can't account for whatever in someone's card. You can't just assume someone has a charged creature. So that's why you would want to charge. It's kind of used as a surprise damage, but that's really weak, and I don't think I'm going to choose that. We also have a Direwolf Alpha, which gives adjacent minions +1 attack. For 2 mana, he's a 2/2 that gives other minions +1 attack that are next to him. That's pretty powerful. Youthful Brewmaster, 2 mana for a 3/2. He returns a friendly minion from the battlefield to your hand. Now, why would you want to do that? Let's think about this. Okay, well, we have an example in our list right here. So let's say we play the Defender of Argus for 4 mana. We have 3 mana left, and what we could do is play him, give 2 creatures taunt and +1/+1. Then you play the Youthful Brewmaster, and you can bring him back into your hand and play him next turn and have his battlecry go off again. That's just one example. Or you could do the same thing with the Acidic Swamp Ooze. You play it, it destroys an enemy's weapon, the enemy plays another weapon, you play Youthful Brewmaster, return this to your hand, play it again, destroy another weapon. So you can kind of see why you may want to have a creature that can return friendly minions from the battlefield to your hand. That being said, do I want the Direwolf Alpha or the Youthful Brewmaster? I think I want the Youthful Brewmaster. Okay, we have another Ventrico Mercenary. We have a Shield Bearer, which is a 0/4 taunt creature, though, so they have to get through him to get to me or any other creatures for 1 mana. He has no attack, so it's kind of And then we have a Tauren Warrior. Here we go. Enrage. So, when he gets attacked, when he receives any kind of damage, his attack is buffed by 3, so he becomes a 5, well, whatever, after he receives the damage. He also has Taunt. For 3 mana, I don't know. Because, that's just kind of so iffy. If you can actually make use of that +3 attack with the Enrage. I think I'm going to go with the Sure Thing, and the Ventrico is a pretty solid card, so I'm going to go with that. Alright, Spiteful Smith. For 5 mana, you get a 4/6 that, when it's enraged, so when it has received damage, your weapon has +2 attack. So if I had my Arcanite Reaper equipped, and she gets damaged but not killed, then my Arcanite Reaper becomes a 7 attack damage instead of 5. And that would go for any other weapon you may have equipped at the time. So that's pretty powerful if you have a lot of weapons in your deck. Elven Archer is 1, and when she's summoned, she deals 1 damage. That's kind of meh. And another Cruel Taskmaster. I'm going to get the Cruel Taskmaster this time. Alright, Worgen Infiltrator. So, this is our first stealth creature we've seen. Stealth is, well, there you see right there, it can't be attacked or targeted until it deals damage. So you play it, it's stealthed, the enemy can't play any spells on it that says target. It is still affected by AoE spells, but that stealth is still a pretty powerful ability, and it's a 2/1 for 1, so that's pretty good. We have a 1/4 for 3 that has Taunt, that's kind of meh. And a 2/4 that when you play the Gnomish Inventor, you also get to draw a card for 4. That's pretty strong too. But I think I'm going to go with the early game choice here, the 2/1 stealth for 1. Alright, next we have Stormwind Champion, a very solid card. He's a 6/6 for 7 mana, where all of your other minions get +1/+1, so that's very strong. Grimscale Oracle is only good for a Murloc deck. You typically don't want to play a Murloc deck in an arena because you can't, you're not guaranteed that you're even going to get many Murlocs, and you can tell they're Murloc by their Murloc thing right there. So I'm going to ignore this one. And then we have Inner Rage, which is okay. So I'm going to do the Stormwind Champion. Alright, so we have Questing Adventurer, who's also a pretty strong card. So for 3 mana, you get a 2/2. That's kind of weak, right? But whenever you play a card, any card, this thing gets a +1/+1 buff permanently. That's why this guy's cool. Also probably why he's called Questing. Anyway, so that's a pretty powerful card. Angry Chicken, you get a 1/1 for 1. And if you can somehow increase its hit points so that it could get enraged, it would be a 5 whatever you increase its hit points to. But still, that's kind of very situational. You typically don't want to pick very situational cards in an arena deck. So I'm going to ignore the Angry Chicken. And then Crazed Alchemist, 2 for a 2/2. And when he comes onto the board, you can swap the attack and health of any minion on the board. That could be very powerful. Say someone has a, let's say like a 2/7, which is a creature in this game, and then you play this guy and you swap it so that he's a 7/2, and then you can hit him with like a Questing Adventurer and kill him. You know, so it's like another surprise effect. You know, someone that people can't plan around a Crazed Alchemist, so that makes it powerful. The Questing Adventurer is also powerful if you have a lot of low casting cards. I mean, so far I kind of do, but the deck is not nearly done. So do I want a Crazed Alchemist or a Questing Adventurer? I think I'd rather have the surprise of the Crazed Alchemist. Right now, anyway. Fiery War Axe, just take my word for it, is an amazing card. 3 damage, 2 attacks for 2 mana. That is an amazing early game board control card. Cleave is also great. Cruel Taskmaster is really cool. Jungle Panther is also very solid too because he has that stealth ability and he's a 4/2 for 3. That's a very powerful creature. But I think in this instance, I choose the Cleave. Alright, we have Gnomish Inventor, another Arcanite Reaper, and a Dalaran Mage. So, this is the first time you've come across spell damage. Spell damage +1. Do I have any... Okay, so like in this instance, the spell damage +1 would make the Cleave deal 3 damage to 2 random enemy minions. So spell damage can be a powerful thing if you have a lot of spells like that in your deck. I only have the 2. So that's not that great for me, so I'm going to ignore the Dalaran Mage for now. Gnomish Inventor is really good. Arcanite Reaper is really good. Do I want a second Arcanite Reaper, or do I want a Gnomish Inventor? This is a hard choice for me. Ugh. Man, Arcanite Reaper is really good. Okay, I'm going to choose the second Arcanite Reaper, but if another one comes up, I'm not going to pick it. Too many Arcanite Reapers could be a bad thing. Another Cleave. We have a South Sea Deckhand, so his special thing is he has the charge ability when I have a weapon equipped. I do have a lot of weapons, but do I want a 1 mana cost 2/1 charger? I don't know. Magma Rager, you may be like, holy crap, 5 damage, but he only has 1 health point, and there's a lot of ways to get rid of 1 health point creatures, so that's kind of... I think I actually choose the third Cleave here. Cleave is a very strong card. Upgrade. So for 1 mana, if you have a weapon, give it +1/+1. Otherwise, you can get a 1 damage, 3 durability weapon in your hand. That's a powerful card. Secret Keeper. Okay, whenever a secret is played, gain +1/+1 to this card's stats. Secrets, they're a type of card that when you play them, your opponent doesn't know what you're playing, and generally secret cards are reactive cards. So, for example, there is a card that when a creature is summoned, you deal 4 damage to it. It's called Snipe, and it belongs to a hunter class. So all the secrets are reactive cards, and the warrior doesn't have any secrets, so getting a secret keeper is kind of pointless. Wild Pyromancer. After you cast a spell, deal 1 damage to every single minion. That could also be pretty powerful. So the spells I have currently are 3 Cleaves, and that's it. Or I could get a upgrade. I mean, it's still a 3 damage, 2 health for 2 mana. That's still a great creature, even without his ability. How many creatures do I have for 2? I have 1, 2, although you typically don't want to play a Taskmaster as a 2 because of his ability. Anyway, this is kind of tough for me. I already have 2 Arcanite Reapers, and I have a Fiery War Axe, so the upgrade has more targets for its +1/+1 ability, so I think I'm going to choose the upgrade. Just because I have a lot of weapons in my deck already. Alright, Earthen Ring Farseer. We get a 3/3 for 3, who also can restore 3 health to either your minions or your hero. That's pretty powerful. Wisp, eh. And Dalaran Mage is, eh. I mean, I do have 3 cleaves, but I don't think that's enough to justify the Dalaran Mage. So I'm going to pick the Earthen Ring Farseer. Argent Squire, Divine Shield. Alright, so Divine Shield. The first time this minion takes damage, that damage is ignored. Totally. No matter how much damage you deal, a creature with Divine Shield will block the first source of damage ever dealt to it. So Divine Shield can be pretty powerful. Magma Rager, I already told you, is kind of eh because of its 1 hit point. Cruel Taskmaster is a great card, I think. So I'm going to pick Cruel Taskmaster. Alright, so sitting at 17 cards, I'm looking at my end game, and all I have is a Ventrico Mercenary and a Stormwind Champion. I have a lot of good cards for the beginning of the game and the mid game, but now I need to try to focus for the end game. Dalaran Mage, do not want. Thrallmire Farseer, Wind Fury. This creature can attack twice each turn. That sounds cool, right? But let's say my opponent had a creature who had Taunt and dealt 3 damage and had like 4 hit points. Well, when this creature attacks it the first time, it's going to be dealt 3 damage, so there's no, like, the Wind Fury doesn't mean anything. So in reality, you're kind of getting a 2/3 for 3 in most cases. That card's not that great. Because, I mean, look here, you have a 2/3 right there. I'd actually rather take this over the Wind Fury at this point. Because the Wind Fury may never go off. So we have a 4th cleave, I think is too many cleaves. Next we have an Amani Berserker. So this is a 2 for 2/3, which is very solid stats for the mana cost. Plus, if it gets damaged, it becomes a 5/2 or 5/1. So that's pretty powerful. And then we have an Ironbeak Owl. Silence. So Silence removes all card text and enchantments. So, this Enrage, if I was to cast Ironbeak Owl and target him, he would lose his Enrage ability, lose all the text and any buffs or enchantments that you have put on a creature. Silence will cancel it out. But if you play an enchantment after a creature has been silenced, that enchantment still holds. You would have to silence again to cancel that enchantment. So that's how silence works. That being said, I think, well, I don't have any silence in my deck. Silence is pretty big. It's very important. But the Amani Berserker is really good. And right now, this deck, with all of its powerful early game creatures, is looking like a very fast, aggressive deck. And I think an Amani Berserker fits right into that, especially with a Cruel Taskmaster. Here's a possible combination. I play the Amani Berserker. I play a Cruel Taskmaster. I deal 1 damage to it, so it becomes a 5/2, but I'm also giving it additional 2 attack, so it becomes a 7/2. Possible combinations here, so Amani Berserker it is. Oracle I'm going to ignore because it's a Murloc. Master Swordsmith. At the end of your turn, give another random friendly minion +1 attack. That's okay. But probably a big target for your opponent. So unless you have a lot of creatures with the Taunt ability, I don't think you would want to pick this card because you can't really protect it. On the other hand, I do have Cleaves, I have Fiery War Axes, and Arcanite Reapers, which I can use my hero to take care of creatures for me to protect the Master Swordsmith from dying. Or I can choose a Wild Pyromancer. Oh, man. I'm going to choose the Master Swordsmith right now. Because I only have 3 spells. So I would kind of want a few more before I play the Wild Pyromancer, I think. So Master Swordsmith, I'm going to give you a shot. We have another Swamp Ooze, an Ancient Brewmaster, which does the same effect as the Youthful Brewmaster, but he's a 5/4 for 4. Oh, this is a great card. Warsong Commander. Your other minions have charge. She's a 2/3 for 3, and she gives charge to every other minion. So, you know, you play a Stormwind Champion with her in the field, boom, there's 6 damage played right there. So we're going to pick Warsong Commander. I would almost always pick Warsong Commander. Okay, Lord of the Arena. It's a 6 mana, 6/5 with Taunt. Pretty powerful card. Mogoshu Warden is also another Taunt creature. 1/7 for 4. That's not as good. Wow, another Taunt creature, a Fen Creeper. 3/6 for 5. Alright, so do I want a 6-5 for 6 or a 3-6 for 5? I have no 5s. Or wait, I do have one 5. Ventrico Mercenary. This is not really a late game deck, so I'm going to choose the Fen Creeper. Execute. For 1 mana, you can destroy a damaged enemy minion. That may sound cool, but eh. Silverhand Knight. 5 for 4-4, or 4-4 for 5. And you also get a 2-2 Squire with him, so you get a whole secondary creature. That's very powerful. In essence, you're becoming a 6-6 for 5 mana. That's awesome. Slam. Deal 2 damage to a minion. If it survives, draw a card. I definitely think the Silverhand Knight's the choice here. Sinjin Shieldmaster is a 3-5 taunter for 4. Very solid card. Inner Range, we've already seen. Charge is kind of meh. So Sinjin Shieldmaster, I think, is the pick here. Goldshire Footman is pretty much worthless. Stormwind Knight is a 2-5 with charge for 4 mana. That's pretty strong. And then we have the Jungle Panther, which has that stealth ability. So would I want to charge 2-5 or 4-2 stealther that cannot be targeted until it attacks? I kind of favor the more of the surprise damage, which charge definitely is, so I will choose the Stormwind Knight. Charge is kind of meh. Youthful Brewmaster has its uses. Slam is kind of meh, so Youthful Brewmaster. Warsong Commander all the time. Youthful Brewmaster, very important. Novice Engineer is okay. She's a 1-2 for 2, but she does draw a card. And I already have 2 Youthful Brewmasters. Who would I really want to use it on? So Defender of Argus is a potential Brewmaster target. Earthring Farseer is a potential because of his Restoring 3 ability. Youthful Brewmastering a Youthful Brewmaster because it's funny. Cruel Taskmaster might be. Crazed Alchemist might be. Acidic Swamp Ooze might be. So I do have kind of a lot of potential targets that I would appreciate the to be returned. But I already have 2 of them. But it's still a solid card too. It's a 3-2 for 2. So yep. Youthful Brewmaster. Bluegill Warrior, a 2-1 with charge for 2. That's okay because of the charge ability. And another Sinjin Shieldmaster. I only have 3 4s. Mike, look at that curve. All these 2s. So I think that's definitely going to make me choose the Sinjin over the Bluegill Warrior. Another Master Swordsmith. Emperor Cobra is very solid because you destroy any minion that's damaged by this minion. And he's a 2-3 for 3. Oracle, whatever. I'm not playing a Murloc deck. I don't want that. So Master Swordsmith or Emperor Cobra. I think I'm going to choose this because it could destroy, you know, a creature that's a 12-12, which is in this game. His name's Deathwing. And if you damage Deathwing, who's a 12-12 with a 2-3, and you could destroy him. It only costs you 3 mana to do it, so this is a very solid card. And there we go. Our deck is now complete. So looking at this mana curve, we are definitely an aggressive early game deck. If we go to the late game, that's when we're really going to drop off because we have no 6s, we have 1-7, we have no 8s, 9s, or 10s. So we need to win very early or else we are going to die. So with the deck built, I'm going to end the video here because this is just going to be the introduction and the first deck building. My next video is going to hopefully be a lot of wins with this deck that we've built here. So thank you for watching. I hope you will enjoy these Hearthstone videos because I'm sure as heck going to enjoy playing them. And I will see you all next time. Take care.